All right, I'm continuing in the series of things not in the Bible, things that we say that maybe we have a misconception of, or we're not saying what we really mean, but it's things that are not in the Bible. And today, what we're going to look at is Satan is the master and ruler of hell. Now, that's not really a saying. This is more of like a thought or a concept. We have images of like a picture of hell with demons all over and Satan on a throne kind of ruling everyone. And that is not biblical. That is not a biblical picture of what is happening at all. Not in any way. So where does this come from? Where does this image come from? Well, it comes from Dante's Inferno, or the Divine Comedy. And Dante was kind of, as far as I could tell, maybe it came from before that, but as far as I could tell, Dante is the first person to sort of give this image of, Satan and demons kind of having this kingdom of hell and ruling and reigning from there. Well, that's not an accurate or biblical picture of reality in any way. So why is this image wrong? Well, number one, it gives power to the enemy. By giving him a kingdom and a place to rule from, it's saying that he has more power and more authority than he really has. Number two, well, actually, I just kind of said that. It makes him more powerful than he really is. Satan is not that powerful. We give him way too much credit as believers for some reason. I don't know why. He is a completely defeated foe with no kingdom to rule from. It says in the Bible, he roams to and fro on the earth. He's not got a base of operations, okay? Number three, Satan is homeless. He doesn't have a fortress or a place of retreat. He doesn't have a place he can go to escape from God or from an angel or from people casting him out. He doesn't have that. And Satan is afraid of hell. Like, he's terrified of it. He knows that's his eternal punishment coming up. It's not like home sweet home for him. And also, this creates fear in Christians. By elevating the power of the enemy in our lives, we're less likely to take authority over him or to believe that we really do have authority over the enemy, even though Jesus clearly stated that he has given us and won back all the authority and given it to us. This idea that Satan has got, it's almost like there's a picture of Satan and God, each with their army of angels, and that they're going to battle each other. And that's not accurate in any way. So what should it be? Well, I think that probably the clearest picture would be that Satan is a loser and he will be tormented forever in hell. Hell is a place of punishment that was created for him. It is a place of eternal punishment created specifically for the devil and his angels. In Matthew 25:41, it says, "Then he will say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels.'" So yes, we do know it's a very sad truth that people who reject God completely in this life will also find themselves in hell. But in truth, it was not created for people. It was not created as a kingdom. It was not created as a place to rule and reign from for the kingdom of darkness or anything like that. It was created as an eternal punishment for the devil and his angels. In Revelation 20:10, we actually see the fulfillment of that, where it says, "The devil who deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone where the beast and the false prophet are, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever." So hell is not a place where the devil rules from. It is his prison. 2 Peter 2:4 says, "For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until the judgment." There's definitely, it's definitely a bad place. Like, gloomy darkness probably doesn't even do it justice, how terrible it is. And the enemy is afraid of it. And 2 Peter talks about, the demons being cast there, and tormented, and they're in chains. This is a place of bondage. It is a prison. Sometimes I hear believers saying things like they pray against every assignment from hell or everything that comes out of the pit of hell. Nothing's coming out of the pit of hell. Once something goes there, they're never coming out because it's an eternal prison with an eternal punishment. There's no coming back. Even the time, like if you read in Revelation, there's a time when Satan is cast into something and then he's let loose. It's actually that he's cast into the abyss for 1,000 years, into a pit, but then he's let loose for 1,000 years. And I mean, not for 1,000, for a short time. And then he's cast into the lake of fire. Once he goes into hell, he's never coming back out. And that's how it is. So sometimes when people are praying and they're fighting against these forces of hell, I know what you're meaning. Like, I do know what you mean. You're talking about coming against the kingdom of darkness and all this stuff, but I'm just telling you that's bad wording. It's bad phrasing, because hell has no forces. It's a prison. Like, that's it. Once you're there, you're there. So there are no forces of hell to contend with. When Jesus said, "On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it," he wasn't talking about things coming out of hell against it. What he was talking about is that hell, which is this eternal place of punishment, those gates are not going to prevail, in the sense that Jesus has provided escape from that to heaven. We who were born into sin, that would be our punishment. But as we accept Jesus and we belong to his church, we now are no longer going to be slaves into hell. We are going to go into heaven. The church is going to prevail against that. So that's what that's about. That's not saying that there's this attack. Gates are not an offensive weapon. There's nothing coming out of there. Gates are there actually to keep things in. We can remind the enemy that his future is hell. And that's a terrifying thought for Satan. But if you think about it, if it was his kingdom, that wouldn't be punishment, and that wouldn't be something for him to be afraid of. There is no war of God versus Satan. We may fight the enemy, and we may have to ward him off, and God is certainly completely aware of what the enemy is doing, but he has a plan to give us free choice to choose him so that we come into his kingdom. And right now, Satan is around doing whatever, but we've been given complete authority over him. He doesn't have to cause havoc in our lives. We can resist him. We can cast him out. We can tell him to go away from us, because we have complete authority. But when we start assigning to him that he has a kingdom and a place of operation and this army of demons and all this stuff, sometimes we become afraid and we forget about our authority. And that's why it's important to understand the reality of what hell is. The enemy may be active right now, but when his time is over, there's no war. Like, understand, there's never a war between God and Satan. When God says his time is up, it's just done. Read Revelation. There's no battle. There's a battle sometime between Michael and Satan, and there's a battle sometime between the angels and the demons, and there's things like that. But when God steps into the scene and says, it's done, there's no time passed from the time God decides to enter the fight and it being over. It just is. God has a kingdom. God is all powerful. The enemy is no match for God. And we need to believe this. We need to think this way. We need to know that the enemy is already defeated. God is all powerful. God will always win. God is in control. And that is the way we need to speak. We don't need to get our words wrong and start assigning something to the enemy more power, more authority, more credit than what he really has. He has nothing. He's a defeated foe, a toothless lion. He's homeless. He has no resources. He has no base of operations. The only thing he really has is the ability to deceive us. And we see a lot of believers who are deceived into thinking that he is greater than he really is. So resist his lies, resist him. He will flee from you. You have the authority. Believe it, think it, and speak it. Till next time.